All right, let's see what we got here. Do not have a cursor. It's not a great look. Um, That's it for settings. So weird. There we go. Apparently, it just completely gets rid of the cursor. We have a controller. Great. Some kind of tension. Not just silence that follows. The bitch knows how to talk. People listen to Tony's sermon. Here's pause the wait. Spence making their pulse race. He knows. He waits before starting certain line. Builds up the crowd's energy and makes the most out of every silence. Hello, Tally. Quite the time for my sleep schedule to be completely destroyed. And I attempted to go to bed as I started to get tired, and it didn't happen. Now I'm doing this. Tired of laying in bed for 2 hours, getting nothing done. When you've heard his speeches before, you can't help but notice that there's a certain magnetism in his work. I remember that before the storms had been farces. The idea that hell is below us was etched in the Western subconscious by the 14th century poem. Tony claims that more than 500 years ago, the devil sat behind Dante Alighieri, dictated the verses of the Divine Comedy. Around. You can feel the contained energy. You know it won't be much longer. You think the tornadoes that plague our county come from? Fooled. Close your eyes and feel the hairs on your arm stand on end. Hell isn't below us. No. Up beneath our feet. You crazy son of a bitch. Hell is above us all. You recognize the end of the sermon. You feel like something finally breaks. Huge amount of energy gets released. The clamor is deafening. I wonder if the same crowd could be heard over the passing of an F5 tornado. Trying not to draw too much attention, walk away from the scene by strolling to the other side of the park. Light a cigarette and take drags. You can still hear them cheering. Grab your head. Were you thinking you didn't infiltrate the Boston Knights to analyze their leader's sermons? You need to know what happened to Kupra. Interesting. So, you're at least some type of undercover. My noise gate is chopping me up a bit, probably because I'm leaning back more. This should probably help, now that I'm actually standing, or sitting somewhat straight up. I'm also kind of mumbling, because there's going to be a lot of talking. At least I figure. Think of your partner of the work at the agency, all the beers you shared. Cooper is the godfather of your 3-year-old daughter. The day she was born, he promised that whatever happens to you, be there. I'm actually going to do something real quick. Disable flux. Because since this is a very limited color palette, and it seems like it's trying to mimic the ZX Spectrum, I think I'd be doing... I know it's only the demo, but I still think I'd be doing it a disservice if I didn't turn off flux. So I get a feel for the full effect. Feel an emptiness in your stomach and try to think of something else. Still can't understand why you smoke that brand, Boulder. No. You're startled back into the present. You didn't hear him coming. You get some air. Here. Shakes the keychain close to your face. You don't really seem to have a choice and grab the keys. There's something wrong with my Sierra? No, it's not that. Today's sermon was intense. With a capital I. I need you to drive me and my Sierra. What about mine? Should I leave it here? Yeah, don't worry. Tomorrow a new driver joins the group. Interesting. So this is legitimately like a cult? Not just because of the sermon thing, but like the implication is kind of that they both own Sierras, and that having Sierras is common. We're going to use the barn for the baptism. Baptism, assume. Stare at Tony looking for a sign. Nothing. Not the first time Tony had someone drive him in his car. First time he asked you. Sorry before everyone heads out. Walk to Tony's Ford Sierra and get into the driver's seat. I'll sit in the back. Need to stretch my legs a bit. Turn the keys and hear the engine roar. So, like, to me, that would be... Let's say I'm Mr. Undercover Man. That sounds weird to me, because why would you need to stretch your legs when you're just doing a standing sermon? Step on Boulder. Don't be shy. Why did he ask you to drive it? I'd ask one of the other drivers. Could be because he found you near where the cars were parked. Just wanted to hurry. What was that about a new baptism? Just from what you've heard, neither candidate's ready yet. Though you try to focus on the route, you can't help but something wrong. Doubt forms like a cloud in your mind. Does Tony know? So we don't have a ton of information to make an assessment on stuff. I'm kind of making some assumptions on what's happening. Tony? Okay, so that's the log. That's settings. That's auto and fast forward. We don't have to chat, Boulder. What does he mean? Your hands sweat on the steering wheel. You try to calm down and think. Honey's voice came from behind the passenger seat. Honey doesn't want to talk, and you can't stand the silence. These might help. Turn on the radio. Static. 45 on your FM dial. 666? Who would have thought? Someone talking about politics. Not what you're looking for. Don't want to hear the Spolster Colts either. Keep looking. So this is like AM radio or something. Can't turn the dial to the right anymore. Feel some movement in the back. Leave it there, listen. You recognize the song, and a chill runs down your spine. An old blues song about betrayal. Focus on the song's lyrics and everything falls into place. Tony knows. He knows you infiltrated the Boston Knights. He knows you're investigating what happened to Cupra. Son of a bitch just knows. But what would he do now? Would he wait until he got out of the car and shoot you in the back of the head? Grip the wheel tight with both hands. Tony would never kill anyone inside one of his Sierras. Think of your daughter, of Cupra. The promise he made you that no one would ever fulfill. Holding the truck. Everything happened too fast. Although Tony wasn't killed instantly, neither of you survived the frontal collision. Wow, okay. So this is gonna be one of them games, huh? One of them games where you just die when you make a selection. Well, this game's gonna be a lot less interesting, I feel like. Alright. What are you doing? Sorry, you know the rules of the Boston Knights better than anyone. Driver chooses the music, and he laughs, and something about it calms you down. Your favorite song comes on, and you let go of the dial. You don't know if it's because of how Tony left. You mentioned one of the Boston Knights. Or because you're listening to the first song you danced to with Eva. Whatever the reason, you start to calm down. Before you know it, you're singing the song under your breath. Come on, Boulder. Louder. Pumped up by Tony's words, you start singing out loud. You finish, Tony starts clapping. Listen. Tomorrow's an important day for all of us. I moved the baptism of the new driver forward because there's someone who's not going to be sticking around. The others were going to take care of him before going to the bar. Who's Tony talking about? What had this nameless driver done? Will they do to him the same as they did to Cupra? You get this feeling of emptiness in your stomach. Let's focus on the positive. Tomorrow, you'll have your first route exorcism. Happy, Boulder? Try to smile. To hide the shaking in your left hand. The rest of the trip you do in silence. You know that you'll have to be more careful than ever if you don't want to be discovered. Park near the entrance of the bar, get out and open the door. Tony slaps you on the shoulder and smiles. You enter the bar. Tony nods toward the counter and winks at you. And vanishes through the door in the back. Danny's, the beer is free for the Boston Knights. Old Danny has been one of the group's first drivers. After After his tragic death, his son Kevin had taken over the bar. Kevin despised Tony and his followers. But even with their differences, he upheld the agreements with the Bostons. Does Tony know that Kevin spit in every glass of beer before putting it on the counter? Here's someone swearing to your left. See a group of men walking away. The report is Kevin's idea. Each customer is allowed to throw 1 dart a night. Not the Boston Knights. Tony had taken care of that. Boston Knights can throw as many darts as they want. Try to make a Glenn's Eye. Okay, now I gotta look this up. Glenn's Eye. Well, I have no idea what that is, so guess we're just gonna have to roll with it. What's the dartboard? Glenn's Eye is the highest score. Center of the dartboard. Who gets Glenn's Eye wins a shot of single malt whiskey. Glenlivet. Customary for the winner to pour the shot of Glenlivet into their eye. What? So you win a shot of whiskey that you then pour into your eye. Fucking carnies, man. I wonder if this is real. Or if it's super fake. It's real. 20. Cooper used to say that to get a Glenn's Eye, you don't need to think. When you think, your mind tricks you into seeing things more simply than they are. You don't have to worry about aiming and visualizing an imaginary crosshair. All those are just mind games, crutches of the imagination. What you need is to wait for it and to listen to your body. Body knows, Boulder. Try to clear your mind to listen to your body. Nothing. I mean, this does seem like a legitimate thing. But it's also happening so... Like, the aim is so quick and so erratic that, it's kind of hard. 50. I mean, he didn't say anything, so... And 50 should be the highest. Technically, that's not the highest you can score in a set. I found that out when we were playing a game, fuck, what was it called? Ooh, that's gonna be really hard to remember. It's a game where you're like 2 prisoners and there's a dart game. Anyway. No, he's not going to spit in your glass. Kevin was Cooper's friend. Something tells you that Kevin knows you're nothing like the rest of the Boston Knights. Finish your beer and stretch your back. Look over at the door in the back. Something Tony said can't get out of your head. Starting tomorrow, let you join the Holy Cross. You and your Fort Sierra will participate in the route exorcisms at last. You place your hand on your chest. Suppress the burp before it reaches your mouth. Adjust your seat. Muster the strength to embark on another day. Been over a year since your first exorcism. You don't know how much more you can take. Still haven't discovered what happened to Kupra. Or have you found evidence necessary to incriminate Tony? Lower the sun visor on the passenger side. Anguish constricts your chest. You're heartborn, no the burning sensation in your esophagus troubles you anymore. Experience a shapeless pain. Pain that doesn't cling to the body. Rather in the absence of anything. Ollie. Focus on the drawing. On those marks that still feel close to you. Yet are part of a different life. Recall Ava's laughter upon seeing how Olivia depicted you. Ava pointed to your belly, and you feigned offense. Let's go there for marking your child's artistic abilities. Ava would ask you to put Olivia to sleep, giving you a playful wink. You would lull her to sleep, watching her fight full of slumber, or that Ava awaited you in the other room. Alright. Wikipedia it is. Alright. Between the 15th and 16th centuries, Italian Catholic priest and religious reformer, co-founder of the Theatins, recognized the saint, these days August the 7th. Founded a hospital for incurables. Was involved with spiritual healing rather than physical healing. Tended to form a group that would combine the spirit of monasticism with the exercises of the active ministry. Patronage. Bankers, unemployed people, workers, gamblers, document controllers, job seekers, good fortune. Seems to be like wealth, kind of. founded a bank to help the poor and offer an alternative to usurers who charged high interest rates. Later became seen anything for what he was canonized for or beatified. Right. Sixth foundation, growth, order. Okay. Members. Okay. You gaze at the holy cards. Sometimes you wonder if the agency complicates matters unnecessarily. Chain represents a specific area of investigation. The holy card serves as a means to communicate with your handler discreetly. Shut your eyes and you believe you catch a glimpse of them. Start the car. Knowing that the road numbs your consciousness. Pippa once told you that he used to fall asleep listening to the tape of white noise on his Walkman. Well, because white noise encompasses all frequencies audible to humans. Perfect place for those voices that kept him awake to get lost in the crowd. You read Poe? Cooper held Edgar Allan Poe in high regard. Felt like a personal affront every time you told him that you hadn't read him yet. Glance at the passenger seat. Be enough this time? The idea of you using holy cards in the investigation couldn't be more apt. After all, you perceive every communication with your handler as a prayer. Walk with great strides. Remember Ava. How she mimicked the rhythm of your walk, laughed while doing so. They are. 1981 and both of them died in 1981, so possibly in the same event. Your handler's idea. You heard it, seemed like a bad joke. Couldn't believe what she was proposing. Erecting the fake graves of your wife and daughter in a local cemetery. Handler said it was perfect as a cover. Wife and daughter would have been killed in a road accident. Would explain your disregard for life and self-destructive impulses behind the wheel. Two desirable traits among the Boston Knights. However, the true brilliance of the idea lie elsewhere. That was to name them after your real wife and daughter. Undercover agent, you would have no contact with them. You could harness those genuine feelings of loss to make your cover more convincing. Gaze at your daughter's grave. Even though you know no one is buried there, the date evokes profound sadness and you avert your eyes. You're aware your handler chose your daughter's grave for the exchange because that reaction is common to most people. It's difficult to confront the death of a child. Father Mario! Father Mario was the healing priest from La Matanza, Argentina. There's a famous praise of his. I am the guitar, God is the guitar player. The agency uses Father Mario's holy card to catalog the action of Tony's acquaintances. Let's build a case against the entire hierarchy of the Boston Knights. in Cahethan of Cathene, or Thean, patron saint of administrative officers. So that was mentioned there, but it was also like banks and unemployed people and gamblers and stuff. So it seems like kind of a bunch of economic stuff. The agency uses Holy Card to catalog accounting documentation. Marian Doer of Knots is an allegorical representation of human difficulties. Not symbolizes problems that the Virgin helps to unravel. Agency uses their Holy Card to catalog documentation that seems to have been forged. So, acquaintances, counting, and acquaintances, accounting, or forging, or obtained illegal. Receipt is for 20 cans of red paint. Know that Tony paints huge crosses on his barns. Although the receipt is not evidence in itself to convict him, prove valuable to forensic accountants. To drive a curfew after the storm season and some security issues that followed the humanitarian crises. The government issued a curfew prohibiting movement except for those with a special permit. How had Tony managed to get a permit issued in his name? That's forged, probably. So find evidence. Permission to circulate after curfew. Send the evidence to the Holy Card. Sign the evidence to the Holy Card. You leave the Holy Cards on the grave. And you retreat the way you came. The evidence stack up this time. Build the case with this new information. Much longer will you endure the Boston Nights? However desperate you are to find what happened to Cupra, long to go home. You embrace them, kiss them so much. You yearn for Olivia to draw you. For Ava to laugh at you, put Olivia to sleep, knowing that Ava is waiting for you in the other room. Sierra gets in front of you. You manage to break at the last second. Vincent smiles and you barely stop yourself from stepping out of your car to punch the grin off of his face. Upside down cross. Praetorian cross, potentially. Not necessarily Antichrist. Think of Cupra. One of the exercises he taught you to survive as an undercover agent. It's a mnemonic trick. You have to imagine a sort of continuum for each person you interact with. Some sort of bar divided into 7 equal parts. A goofy thing. Follow me, Boulder. Look at Vincent. And you can imagine that bar. Any other bar represents full confidence. The end, total suspicion. The point at which they are going to excuse you and discover your true identity. To play Cooper's tricks to all Boston Nights. Apart from Tony. Tony, you never know where you stand, bar or no bar. You hear Vincent rev the car's engine. He wants to see us. Grit your teeth hard. Take comfort in thinking that if the evidence is good enough this time, it won't be long before you're back with your family. So I assume you want to fill that bar, but with that description, it made it sound like you want it empty. So it's kind of hard to tell. You've reached the end of the demo. Thanks. Wow, that was That wasn't much. PC and console 20. I mean, cool start, I guess, but not much happening with it. Not much to really poke at. I could see it being cool. It is actually out also. Second Tosh on my list to keep an eye on. Alright, what else we got? These stories from Soul.
Space Colony Studios.
Okay, hopefully that's capturing. Seems like studio mode is the one they want. This dialogue and activates the interface. It's a dialogue without selecting choices. Arrow keys activate or navigate the interface. Escape accesses game menu. Q opens the save menu. Z load. MF opens map. T is the log. Okay, so advance dialogue. That's interact. Navigate the Glossed. Escape access to the game menu. QZ. QZ is really weird to have as those buttons. Alright. Let's see what we got here. September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Following a raft of oppressive policies and crackdowns from Earth-based government of the Solar Federation, joint forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet rebelled. This conflict came to be known as the Solar War. Gotcha, video game. The war carried on for 3 years, but eventually the combined forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet managed to push the Federation military all the way back to planet Earth. The final days of the conflict, a pitched battle was fought in the lunar orbit that would decide the war's victory. For the Jovian character. Flexibly tighten your grip on your armored frame's twin flight sticks as another wave of vibrations reverberates through the cockpit. The creak of your new flight suit and your quickening breath are the only sounds that you hear above the gentle hum of the frame's subsystems. As you squeeze the controls tighter, their plastic casings creak under the pressure. Try and stay calm, knowing that these gentle vibrations are remnants of huge shockwaves that are buffeting Kaliak, the carrier that you're stationed on. Each one is a near miss as an explosion tears through the ship, or the space around the ship. Try to push the thought from your mind, focus on controlling your breathing. You've already realized that their frequency means that Kaliak was Be approaching the front lines. The squadron will be launching soon, and you'll be engaging in your first real sortie, first real flight. Feel your throat tighten. Simulations are as good as the real thing. That's what your trainer told all of you. But you know that pilots are supposed to have hundreds of hours of live flights and training exercises in real armored frames before they're allowed anywhere near the front lines. Of course, that didn't happen. Command told you that modern simulators mean cadets could graduate without the need for these exercises. You've overheard the rumors, though. The Jovian colony fleet had lost a lot of pilots, and still wanting to keep pace with the Martian advance against Earth, resorted to fielding anyone who could fight. So we're part of Jovian colony fleet. Your whole squadron is just like you, freshly conscripted from the Europa colony. You've undergone basic training there, but almost all of your flight training that had taken place on the cruiser's journey from space. I wonder how the others are feeling right now, whether... Maintenance crew, Calliope 5, this is flight deck. We're preparing your squad for takeoff. Running last-minute diagnostics on your frame, activating all systems. Now. Alright, looks all good to you. We'll run a few more checks, and we'll have you in Spaceborne in a few minutes. Ready to show some of those Terrans who's boss? Mind races as you try to think of a response that will convince not just the engineer but yourself that everything is going to be alright. Send your mouth dries up and your heart feels like it's about to burst from your chest. Flight stick creaks more loudly as you squeeze them tighter, as if any moment you may snap them in half. Pilot, everything okay in there? Gom's green. After taking a few deep breaths, eventually it feels like you have a modicum of control again. You release your grip on the flight sticks and lean back in your chair. Ugh, man. This is Calliope 5, calm screen, just a bit. Well there, Calliope 5, nothing wrong with feeling the jitters. Tell you what, what's your name, pilot? What's your first name? Oh, sure. That's definitely... Oh man. Never mind, we have our pilot name for these types of games. What's your first name? Percy. Okay, what's your surname? Codpiece. Your pronouns. Wait, let me be one of those guys that will now turn this off and rant for 9 hours about this simple free-choice screen. Or I can just, move on. Okay, Ensign Codpiece. First up, take a few deep breaths with me in and out, nice and slow. You got that? Draw on one lug, measure breath, and hold it in, and release it, following the engineer's instructions as you repeat it a few more times. After a while, you begin to feel your pulse slow and some of the tension in your body slip away. You still feel on edge, but you feel slightly more in control. Alright, there we go. Now listen up, Ensign. You ain't got a thing to worry about out there. I've heard is that all the Terran's best pilots were taken care of between here and Mars. Yeah, obviously. Heck, Martians are the ones who have been leading the charge today, but they're the ones taking all the flak. Propaganda machines selling this as our decisive strike against Earth's last line of defense. Between you and me, it ain't nothing more than a bopping up situation. A buddy of mine in operations said as much in the canteen last night. Besides, you hear a dull ring over the comms and sit bolt upright in your seat, slouching back and exhaling as you realize it's nothing more than the engineer striking the cockpit armor on your frame. This beauty here is a work of art. Terran frames ain't got nothing on her. She's all tuned up and ready to go. Probably spent more time with this one than I have with my own kid. So don't you worry. Remember what they taught you in training and leave the rest up to her. You'll come out of this just fine. Despite your startled reaction a moment ago, the engineer's confidence is infectious and is starting to rub off on you. You adjust your position in your seat so that you're sat up straight. The soft hum of the frame system now seems more comforting than ominous. Just a mopping up operation, you think? Martians have done all the work, so we're just sitting pretty here at the top of the line frames. Yeah, nothing to worry about. So it's a codpiece. How are you feeling about things now? You know, I guess feeling good, even though I know that this is all an illusion. Yeah, I'm ready to get out there and kick some ass. You declare channeling your newly tapped will of confidence. It's a spirit, Edson. Now hang on to that, and we'll have you out to those hangar doors and kicking parents around in no time. Left alone with your thoughts, you tune back in to the gentle hum of the frame. Watch the seconds tick away on the cockpit clock, whilst you wait for the order to launch. Wait seems to drag on and on. You carry out a few last-minute flight checks, but as you already completed them when you boarded, nothing has changed. From T. Danza. It says it up there. Coming signal from Tony Danza. Hey, you're, alright, pilots. Listen up. This is the Kaliaki 1. We've been cleared for launch, so be ready for immediate action. All frames will be taking off designation order. Back formation, sound off. 2, 3, 4, we're Kaliaki 5. Kaliaki 5, confirm your status. Kaliaki 5 standing by. Together, Kaliaki 5, Kaliaki 6. About. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll call of your squadron as they depart from the ship and accelerate rapidly towards the combat zone. Sounds like a countdown to you. Once Kaliaki 4 has declared their launch, you know that your time has come. You disengage the restraints and prepare yourself. Shadows just slam the flight sticks toward the maximum thrust. Kaliaki 5 abort the launch cut thrusters. Kaliaki 5 abort launch cut thrusters. Engineer's instructions barely register the confusion as you're jerked around the cockpit for your helmet slamming on the control panel. As a brief moment of thrust throws you back into your seat before you're whipped forward again. Warnings flash all over your monitors and sirens and alerts sound from all over your cockpit. Abort launch, cut thrusters. It takes a few seconds for you to comprehend the engineer, but once you do, you quickly pull the flight sticks back to their neutral position. The roar of your framed engine dies, and your cockpit regains previous stillness. You wince as the metallic taste of blood fills your mouth. Alright, Kelly, if I hang tight for a moment. Frames restraints didn't accept the disengage command, so you're still attached to the Kaliaki. Going to need to run a diagnostic, shouldn't take too long. You slump at the cockpit chair and exhale deeply, your heart still pounding a billion beats per minute, your lips stinging. Continue to slow your breathing as you listen to the still open communication channel from the maintenance crew as they work to get your frame replaced. Hey, look, hey, looks like the restraint disengaged command didn't register. Yeah, Unit 5. Alright, yeah. Unit 6 out. No sense waiting for this one. Okay, start the diagnostic and reboot if necessary. What do you mean the hardware fault? We've checked it 10 times since Mars at least. Who was assigned to Unit 5? Over. Fine, right. Shut down the systems and run the diagnostic again. I want this frame out there in the next 5 minutes. Okay, Unit 5, we're going to shut down your frame systems for a moment so that we can run diagnostics. Stay ready, though. We'll have you launching soon. Cockpit fades to darkness again. You realize the flight sticks, or you release the flight sticks and suddenly realize just how long you've been clenching your fists around them. You flex your fingers and bend or roll your shoulders, exhaling again as you begin to hear the muffled sounds of the engineers working on your frame restraint. Staring at the dead monitor, You slowly begin to smile. This is what you wanted, wasn't it? Spent so long worrying about this mission that you'd thrown up twice in the past 24 hours, and now it looks like it was all for nothing. You got what you wanted, and you were safe. Safe as can be, strapped to the outside of a military character in an inactive, armored frame, anyway. Your smile widens inadvertently at that thought. Getting shot down in an inactive frame, still in its restraints. You'd become a cautionary tale for engineers and pilots throughout the entire Jovian colony fleet. Mind turns quickly to the rest of the squadron. When they return, you'd be the laughingstock of the entire Calico. Pilot who'd spent their entire first mission stuck in the dark cockpit, dodged a bullet, but you'd never. Kaliyoki 6, they've cut off the flight path. There's more. What's this? LP lore? Maybe. There's a whole squadron of carriers coming in from E-Field. Kaliyoki 1, they're going to cut you off from the fleet. Kaliyoki 6, a signal disappearing as you sit bolt upright as you begin pressing buttons, trying to activate your cockpit's main monitor so you can see what's going on. However, with your frame system shut down remotely by the maintenance crew, you can do nothing but sit in dark stillness and listen to the residents unfold. Kaliyoki 6, respond, Kaliyoki 6, what's going on? How many characters are coming in from E-Field? Ma'am, Kaliyoki 6's signal has been lost. It's not responding. It's a sea pylon. Hold together, Kaliyoki 4. All units form up. Defensive formation on me. I said all units, Kaliyoki 2. Don't break formation. Arca. Oh, ma'am, they're firing on us. There's so many of them. God, oh god, ma'am, help. In an instant, your communications channel is flooded with cries of terror and panic. You hear your squad mates, your fellow pilots, exclamations of fear as this unexpected enemy force bears down on them. Screams and yelps, wails, and howls fill your head as you sit powerless in the dark confines of your cockpit. Hey, who's out there? Engineering, hey, get me ready, I can help. Get me ready to launch. Engineering. Getting killed out there. I need to go now. Shout demands to get your frame ready for a launch over the channel, but they are met with no response. In the dark of the cockpit, with your controls unresponsive, you can't be sure whether the channel is closed or if no one's listening. With all the attention turned to receiving the battle damaged units from your squad. It's gonna be anyone, get me out of here. You desperately begin attempting a manual override of your systems. Find nothing responds to you. The only spark of life that you can glean from your frame is the small diagnostics progress bar. You need to get out of here. Hey. One last desperate attempt to begin hammering on your cockpit wall. One last desperate attempt. Really should be a comment there, or comma there. Begin hammering on your cockpit walls, hoping to get the attention of the engineers you could hear outside earlier. The entire time, the chaos of the combat out in space is narrated to you in broken fragments of radio chatter. There's 3, 4 on me. I've lost my shield. I can't shake them. They're everywhere. There. The line of retreat's totally cut off. We can't get back to the ship, ma'am. What do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up. 3 and 4 on me. We're going to punch a hole through their formation and... Yeah, ma'am. One by one, the squad signals disappear and a cacophony of panic disappears, replaced by gentle hiss of static. Stop hammering on the side of your cockpit as the last voice is cut off. You're drenched in a cold sweat now, and your empty stomach feels like a rock is sunk to the bottom of it. You lean back and stare blankly ahead. It's Kaliyoki 5. Ready for takeoff. 21st planetary calendar 209. Despite last-minute reinforcements for the Solar Federation from their headquarters on Earth, the battle above Lunar is a victory for the joint Martian and Jovian forces. It would be the final battle of the Solar. And their last stronghold on Lunar Solar. Missing commas in some of these sentences. Lost their last stronghold on Lunar, the Solar Federation would agree to a ceasefire and sign an armistice to end the hostilities, and uneasy peace fills the solar system. The conflicts between the Solar Federation and the Martian-Jovian alliance concluded. The Calyaganer crew soon returned to Europe, colony near Jupiter. Reduced need for pilots away from the delicate space between Earth and Mars saw Entopy's reassigned to security detail aboard various Jovian ships. He was eventually promoted to lieutenant. Four years have passed since the battle above Lunar. The Jovian colony fleet, fearing fresh aggression from Earth, increased patrols near the colonies after picking up unusual signals coming from further out of the solar. Patrol ship JFS Gundog is dispatched to support the JFS O'Brien in its investigation of these signals. In space, support the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Rumble of the Gundog's engine roaring to life reverberates through the ship. You clench your fist. It's been 4 years, and to this day, the sensation of tremors, whether they're the ship's engines, docking clamps, or weapon grills, still ties your stomach to knots. Bad trait for a ship's security officer. Shake your head and exhale slowly, taking a moment before stowing the last of your possessions, pushing the drawer closed. Feel the click as it locks into place. The exterior plastic paneling sits completely flush with its surroundings. Stepping back, you look around the room. Take another deep breath and hold it for a moment. While this was far from your first posting as a security officer, you always felt the same sense of trepidation, if not anxiety. As similar as all ships were, they all came with their own unique crews and personalities. With those came unique problems. Breathing out, you take a look around the room, taking stock of your surroundings. Select the look button to examine your surroundings. By selecting items of interest, select it again, you're done. Lets me control the room's lighting, the bed. Keep my books here too, currently reading the Tales of the Cosmic Champion series. It's a normal storage unit, a travel light, so mine only has clothes in it. Standard crew bunk, once you've slept in one, you've slept in them all. Although this is one of the nicer ones I've been assigned to. Wall panel can be removed by jimmying it with an object, and crew members often stash contraband there. Looks like this one's not been touched though. This terminal lets me access the ship's computer. It's got a clock, a word processor, and even a calendar. I can also access records in my orders from there, but for anything else I'd need to access the core, which is limited to those in operation for command. Standard door with an electronic lock and magnetic bolting system. The only way in and out, unless you plan on getting creative with maintenance tunnels. Okay. Click the use button to interact with your surroundings by selecting specific objects to use them in. Select the button again when you're done. the lights, bitch? Yes. Hey. We get a little flashlight. According to Jovian, it's still in the middle of the day, based on Jovian standard time. Nothing in here right now. I just my uniform notes and toiletries. It's like I've been instructed to report to the bridge, meet the captain. Haven't met anyone yet since my transport to the spaceport ran late. I just about made it on board before launch. Waited an extra time and I should get moving soon. Click the move button to move to another location. From a list of options, you can change your mind and press the button again. Step out into the empty corridor and the door to your quarters gently hiss to shut behind you. Its keypad gives a short series of beeps and you hear the lock gauge. The full thrum of the ship system is barely audible, but otherwise you stood in total silence. The air is cooler outside of your quarters, and the corridor has a sterile, black aroma. It's been the same on every ship you've been stationed on. At this point, it doesn't surprise you. Okay, so this is a Swift-class patrol vessel, which means if I leave this quarters block, I'll be in the fore-side thoroughfare. If I go right towards the aft, I'll arrive in the central hub and I can head to the bridge. Feeling these. Can't say I've run into them on any other ship. Dalton Grange, not someone I've met before. Haru Rumney doesn't sound familiar. Hanson Cruz. I don't think that would be a good idea right now. Leave the crew block behind you and find yourself in a much larger corridor that stretches off to your left and with multiple smaller corridors leading from it. To your right, the corridor leads to a large plaza-like space. A very faint breeze coming from your left ruffles your hair and chills you slightly, and you hear the sounds of human activity. From the right, you can hear the hum of the ship's engines more clearly now, as well as the occasional low, quiet whirring sound. Looks like I was right. This portion of the thoroughfare will lead, or let me access both sets of crew quarters, the mess hall and the hangar, and the central hub. From there I can access the rest of the ship areas. I should hurry up to meet the captain before I look around anywhere else. No, but look. Ship's hangar. Since I'm on security detail, the only time I should be spending there is when I'm carrying out my daily checks. A larger ship, you'd see people coming and going constantly, so it's eerie how quiet this one is. Mess hall. I don't imagine a ship this size has a cook or even a kitchen, so it's probably just a venmate in it. But that could be down that way. Fire control, maybe? Gotta meet the captain. Had a decent meal back on the colony before I came aboard, since we don't know how long this bitch batch will last. Could be a while before I have anything that isn't made from long life ingredients. Out what's down there later. As you enter the central hub, you hear a low whirring sound and the engine grows louder. You can see the readouts above one of the elevators change. letting you know someone is using it to travel to another part of the ship. You know, when I started up this stream, I wasn't expecting to get bogged down with text adventures. Not that text adventures are terrible, but man, this was not the type of thing I expected. Looking around, you see the entrances to both the fore and aft side thoroughfares as well as the corridor to the airlocks. These aerolators will take you to the bridge where the captain will be. I shouldn't waste any more time. But what if I looked, though? The foreside thoroughfare. I just come from the crew's quarters, hangar, mess hall, or all that way, probably. It's the aft of the ship. Not totally familiar with Swift-class ships, but at least I know that the engine is that way. Most of the ships can be accessed from the two thoroughfares, but some areas like the bridge are situated on different levels and need to be accessed by elevators. Should be accessed for maintenance crawlways around here somewhere, but those are usually only for emergencies. I think that's a sick bay. It's S bay. Most of the ship can be accessed the two thoroughfares. Some areas, like the bridge, are situated on different levels, so need to be accessed by the elevator. Hello, Bacon. You're catching me playing through some outstanding Steam Next demos that I had. I had like 5 or 6 that I needed to get through so I can get them off my machine. Yeah, I just do this as an alternative for like Twitch stuff, Bacon. If you've never used Twitch, Twitch has been really turning up ad stuff, so I wanted to try to have an alternative stream that people could watch if they wanted to. Not that my Twitch streams get a bunch of viewers or anything either, but that's kind of not the point. I do it to hang out, not to necessarily get a billion people watching me. Anyway. Access through the two thoroughfares, but some areas in the bridge are situated in different levels. UPX, but okay, so it's just going to be the same response. You need to report to the captain, who, at this point in the ship's journey, will be stationed on the bridge. You make your way towards the elevators and press the call button. Step back and watch the indicators above each elevator, waiting for one to arrive. As you wait, your mind begins to wander, and you're caught unaware as you feel something suddenly jab into your back. The voice from behind you declares, "Hands in the air, identify yourself." Your posture stiffens as you step back into reality, caught completely off guard by the voice behind you. Thoughts race through your mind as you try to figure out what's going on. Could there already be another security detail on board? It shouldn't be possible as far as you knew. You were the only one, unless... Said, "Hands in the air, punk." Tentatively raise your hands, palms flat and facing forwards, as whatever has been thrust into the small of your back is removed slowly, and you hear the person behind you take a step backwards. You exhale and begin to turn around. Lieutenant Codpiece Security Detail ID SO254 JFSG. I'm on my way to meet the captain, too. Where you'd been expecting a gruff crew member, instead you meet with a bright and cheery officer waving a pen around with a large smile on her face. Taken aback for a moment, as this isn't just any officer, this is... Casey, what are you? Percy, missed you so much. Big Deepest, you should have seen your face when you turned around. We're all... Love that face you make when you think you're in trouble. Like you're playing with a big soldier, gets you in trouble. So cute. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn. You should have known, really. She's always been one for bad jokes and stupid pranks as long as you've known. Unless the professional attitude and penchant for penchant for irresponsibility is the reason why, despite her talent, she's not commanding a ship of her own. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how good did I get you? You totally thought you were being busted, right? But if you're being officer, playful nature is what attracted to you in the first place. You've been dating for nearly 2 years now, but a lot of that has been over electronic mail or in letters. Your postings have never lined up until now. Casey, what are you doing here? I thought you were stationed on the Reliant. Whoever said that you were being transferred? What happened? Well, the thing about that is, you might say that a disagreement with the head of operations on the Reliant led to a lateral trajectory of my career. Sandra, please. Okay, so maybe when it came to change the ship's cyber security passwords, I couldn't be bothered to spend all day sitting in a computer core, waiting for it to generate new cores, so I just changed all the existing passwords by a single... Okay, that's really bad for a military operation. Especially as a security officer. You place your face in your hands as a dull groan rises from the back of your throat. This isn't the first time you've heard a story like this. Maybe it turns out that when they run the cybersecurity drills, they assume that the enemy have your old passwords, so try to brute forcing from those. So maybe that meant that the ship was compromised in 0.5 seconds. But at least they found out I had done that in a drill and not in a real assignment, right? I basically saved the entire ship in advance. Surprised you're still stationed on the ship. How are you not stuck behind records room in the Europa Colony by now? Well, probably shouldn't tell you this, but if I can't trust you, who can I trust? Turns out that the mission was organized at really short notice and the Gundog was the only ship available. The problem was that they'd been having issues with the crew, so they had to transfer some on short notes. Looking for me, that I'd so recently been made available. That's weird, I'd only been just stationed to the Duke, so I should have been free to be transferred. Okay, you figured it out. I may have used one of my contacts from the Academy who works in a resource to transfer you over here. I'm pretty sure you know every regulation you broke by doing that. What am I supposed to do? Get stationed to some tiny ship heading out in the middle of nowhere and no one I know on the crew? We haven't seen each other in months. Are you glad to see me? Of course I'm glad to see you. I've missed you too. It's been a long time. You don't become part of the Reliance Operations Department without some serious talent. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, you said you were on your way to see the captain, right? Have you had a chance to take a look around the ship yet? No, not yet. I was going to. Great, I'll show you around. I've been here a few days, so I basically know the ship like the back of my hand. Where do you want to go first? I was on my way to see the captain. I felt the engines start up, so I know that we're launching soon, and I thought I should probably report in as soon as possible. Oh, don't worry about that. I've already logged you on board. It's just a formality now. Besides, Captain Bartemius isn't exactly a stickler for procedure, so we can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Alright, in that case. Great. This is going to be the best tour you've ever been on. This is terrible military procedure, by the way. Like, you've been ordered by your superior officer and basically the primary officer of the ship to, like, report. You don't just ignore that. Time it's over, you'll have every inch of the ship and everyone on board. It's been so long since we last saw each other, too. Definitely need to make time to stop by my quarters and get reacquainted. Now access every area of the Gundog. Select the talk button to view the list of who is available to talk to. If you change your mind, select the talk button again. Look around the central hub as Cassandra already begins to make her way to her first destination, waving at you to follow. Might be a small ship, you think, but now would be a perfect opportunity to learn its layout and familiarize yourself with where you'll be spending current duty. Plus, you admit it wouldn't hurt to meet all of the crew. Better to get to know them sooner rather than later. Alright. How about we don't do that? Kind of funny now that I think about it, what is. This area is called the Central Hub, but to be honest, the only place you can get to straight away from here is the airlock, sickbay, or the bridge. Well, it's right in the middle of the ship, so it connects everything together via the two thoroughfares, right? Kind of, but if you want to go to engineering, to do some mechanical work, you've got a long way to go for that. And if you want to do pretty much anything else, you've got to go the other way. Warside Thoroughfare is way more of a hub, since you can get to all sorts of places really quickly. Get some snacks in the mess hall to take back to your quarters easy. You want a quicken soda while taking audit in the hangar. There and back in no time. Should make the bridge, or they should move the bridge to the front of the ship. Sounds to me like you just want a vending machine on the bridge. But it's not a bad idea. But still, it's a long way to get to the other side of the ship, no matter where you're going from. How would you solve that problem? Maybe change the shape of the ship so that the center isn't really the center? It's space, so you could make it a really efficient shape, like a cube or something. Cube, I guess it could be more efficient, but I don't think anyone would take a cube-shaped ship seriously. Okay. No multiples. We're headed to the bridge. Fuck y'all, bitch. Step from the elevator of the bridge, and what seems to have been a pretty quiet atmosphere turns totally silent as the two women present, who had previously been observing the screen, turn to face you. You identify the captain almost immediately by her uniform, although you are given pause to wonder if you misjudged as she listlessly straightens up and heads over to you with an air of disinterest. The other woman shoots you a look but remains seated at her station, quickly turning away when she realizes you caught looking your way. Cuteness of her reaction. Oh god, is it gonna be this type of game? That was not what I was expecting. Who returns what she'd been doing before you entered, hopefully because Cassie's presence can feel might be a cold reception. Lieutenant Percy Codpiece, entering the bridge and reporting formal assignment. They declare throwing a sharp salute with Cassandra, the following suit. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn, entering the bridge in accompaniment of Lieutenant Codpiece. You're taken aback slightly as you realize you've hardly ever seen Casey be serious about anything, even her position. Whenever she's had to talk about her assignments, it's always dismissive or in a joking way. You're caught so off guard that you almost miss the captain addressing you. But he's Lieutenant Commander, and Cassie both lower your salutes and loosen your posture slightly. A slight pause, which can tell There's a slight pause, which you can tell is the captain sizing you up there. This informal assessment lasts a little bit longer than you're comfortable with until the captain releases a heavy sigh. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. I appreciate your prompt appearance. You'll have to forgive me for not coming to formally welcome you to the Gundog when you first reported. The order to depart was an urgent one, and we needed to head out as soon as possible. We wouldn't have left without you, of course. You've been given word that your transport was running late, and the system notified us when you were aboard. So I made the decision to set sail as soon as we'd received you. Thinking about it, it was unusual that there hadn't been a formal onboarding process beyond the dock staff checking your ID and guiding you on to the Gundog. Did not realize in your rush, but now it was obvious. But it did make sense that if this was an urgent crew, or it should dispatch the ship would launch as soon as all of its crew were on board. No problem at all, ma'am. I apologize for my tardiness. There's another pause before the captain responds. Can't help but feel a little bit uncomfortable, unsure whether the captain is slowly deliberating something or engaging the conversation with as little energy as possible. Healthy note that these things happen. Anyway, Lieutenant, I'd like to take the opportunity to formally welcome you to the JFS Gundog. My name is Captain Mariz Bartamuse. It was Bartemius. I guess it's Bartamuse. Anyway, I run as tight a ship as you'd expect, and I anticipate that you'll carry out duties to the same standard. Yes, ma'am. From experience, most starboarding procedures have involved greetings and speeches from the captain that have ranged from serious to almost ceremonial. In comparison, Captain Bartamuse's introduction is almost lethargic. Card Lieutenant. Yes, ma'am. Use the item to make use of the item in your inventory. Okay. Although the game will prompt you for the items from time to time, try using items at your discretion when talking to characters or interacting with objects. Okay. Security key card as a security officer, it allows me to access almost anywhere and anything on the ship. Inspects it for a moment before taking it to the control panel near the captain's chair. You remain in position, not quite at ease, but not quite at attention. Watch as she enters some commands into the console before inserting your card into the slot. There's a sound of whirring followed by a series of beeps before your card is ejected and the captain takes it back. By selecting the function button, you can now access a map of the ship, allowing you to move from one location to another without visiting areas in between ice. If an event happens somewhere on the way, you can move to that location instead. That's nice. You can also view your current objectives and other important information. To return, select function button again. With this, Lieutenant Capiche, you have access to all areas and authorities within the ship's security detail. Responsibilities begin with immediate effect. Thank you, ma'am. You're also now authorized to make or to take an appropriate electroshock weapon from the army. If you have any further questions, then you know where to find me. Dismissed. Alright. So, to be real, considering how much reading this is, and I am starting to get tired now, might just call it for here, and I might, quite frankly, I might do this off stream for this game. This seems like the type of thing that's just going to take a bunch of time and be very, very dry and not much happening in it. So, rather not belabor it and make it take twice as long reading out loud instead of just reading it in my head. I'm gonna head out here. Hopefully I can get some energy over the next few days to actually stream more than a couple hours or continue to stream. Kind of shitty lately, but catch you guys later.